When he would grope you, do you recall where you would be at in the room?
Behind his desk.
Do you recall where he was when he was doing these things?
Sitting in his chair.
And how were you positioned?
I was standing.
Were you facing him or facing away from him or something else?
Facing towards him, and that moved on to me facing away from him.
You indicated that the genital touching happened many times, is that right?
Yes.
Did it ever happen any place other than in his office while you were standing in front of him and he's seated in his office chair?
Yes.
Where else did it occur?
I recall some incidents throughout my younger years, and specifically kindergarten, first grade. I recall in other places of the church where he was doing blessing motions and so on, drawing me closer to him to give me a hug, and then reaching down to touch my buttocks or my genital area, and caress me all up and down my body.
Now, you've indicated that the genital touchings happened on a number of occasions. Did it ever go beyond that?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
He once I started to act out in class, and I was being sent over to see Father D specifically. It became to a point where he would expect me to be sent over, just because I was being so disruptive in class.
Now, you indicated that sometimes you would be helpful, that doing these chores
Yes.
and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Would the defendant be doing those things with you, or would you just
Yes.
do them? And after you did these chores, what would happen?
He would usually bring me into the office.
What would happen then?
That is when he took the opportunity to draw me closer to him, putting his hands on my head, then moving down my back, and touching my genital area, and then this eventually escalated to him penetrating me.
Tell me about that.
This started occurring in about first to second grade, after many incidents of him just touching my genital area. I recall several incidents of him reaching back between my legs and penetrating me with his fingers. He's doing a thrusting motion, and I'm hearing the bell. That's a very distinct memory I have of the bell rattling back and forth.
And whose belt would that have been?
Mine.
And do you recall what that felt like as a 5 or 6-year-old or 7-year-old?
At first, I thought it was a game. It did become uncomfortable. I do recall some incidents where he was pressing on my shoulders, pressing down while he was doing the penetration, and that was how it sort of escalated at that point. This escalated to the point where he was leading me back to the seating area, and I was usually facing away from him. Actually, I was always facing away from him, and I have memories of the wall, facing down and looking down and seeing my pants on the floor, and his shoes positioned behind me. I can recall at least about 10 times, and this is only because of different memories of staring at, because I would usually fixate on a particular item in the room, such as a bookcase or the wall or some depiction on the wall, some religious depiction. I would draw my attention to that, and while he was doing the penetration.
Even though he is abusing you sexually, how did you feel about the defendant back then?
I kind of seen him as a parent as well, You know, he was such a strong influence in my life. I admired Father D. I really did.